everyone, week 12 of the Margarete Miller Collage Challenge. Boy, time's just flying on by. So this week is something found in a treasure chest, graph paper, a hand tool, a piece of scrap art, something you see through a window, and the bonus is a key. So let's see what I've got. Right, so this week I've got a coin as something you find in a treasure chest. I've got my graph paper. I've got a hand tool. So I chose these kind of hand tools rather than a drill. A piece of scrap art, so that there is something that I had left over. It's got a piece of tool stuck to it. I don't know, it's got glue all over the back. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Something you see out of a window, I've got a bird. And I'm not going to use the bonus today. So let's get started. There we go. All right, so let's put the graph paper down first so we can see it's way too long. So I'm going to just chop it off so it fits the page better. Maybe about here. See that? Yep, that's great. Now my idea was to, because I couldn't figure out how to make it all sort of tie in, so what I thought I would do was cut this into strips and then try and fit this piece of paper behind it so that you still see the hand tools, but this sort of resembles a window, and then my bird will go behind it. So let me just show you what I'm going to do and we'll play around with it from there. Right, so here it is finished, and you can see if I pull it apart how I've cut it, but I've left the strip at the top. So then what I wanted to do was to thread this through here. It's a little bit fiddly, but I kind of had to play with it and I think it looks good. So let's put this one, then that one, then this one, and this one. So you're still seeing the graph paper, but it ends up being a bit like a window frame, is my idea for this week. Just so that I can get all the elements to sit on the page. And you'll see that you can still see the hand tools here, but it's sort of got the window pane effect, which is what I'm after. So I'm just going to rip this off here. And actually I might just ink the edges of the page so that they're blue as well. Yeah, so something like that. And then my bird will sit outside the window, as it were, along with my bit of old art, scrap, what does it say, a piece of scrap art, something like this. And my coin will also go somewhere maybe there. And then I was thinking of something for the windowsill here. So that's my idea at the moment. So let me get my ink, like I said before, and I'm just going to ink up the edge of the pages here, just so they tie in, and see where I actually want this situated. I might move it across a little bit. I'm kind of liking the rough edge down there as well, so I might rip this, or it might be hidden behind there anyway. So, all right, let me get my ink. So I've decided just to ripple on the bottom here as well, just to give another edge, and I've decided to leave that edge here straight because it will be straight there anyway, so that'll be fine. And I'm using, of course, Uncharted Mariner for my ink today because it's blue and it's a very cool colour. So let's just do a little bit. I don't want it to be over blue, just touches of it, just to tie it in with the graph paper. All right, let's get this threaded back through and see exactly where I want to place it. And then we'll move from there. So yeah, that little bit of blue ink just helps to tie that page in with the graph paper, so that's good. Yeah, I think just across a little bit, but I do like being able to see the edge of the set square here as well. All right, let's see that now. Yep, that's better. Okay, so yeah, it's just going to be like, look like a kind of window effect, as it were. Try and move it across just slightly. So I'm still getting that rough edge down here. Yep, that's good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that now together, leaving this one, I think, so that I can put things underneath it. And maybe that one too, because I think my bird went underneath there, didn't it? Yeah, so I might leave those two and glue these two and the back on, and then I'll be back to show you what I'm doing next. Well, it was a good job I did the sticking down of that off camera, because the whole thing got in a big mess. It wouldn't stick, and yeah, anyway, that's what happens, doesn't it, when you're collaging and stuff? You never know what's going to happen. So let's get this one stuck down. And I'm liking you can still see the hand tools, because that's part of our prompts this week. You can still see a little bubble there. Oh. It's funny, you just don't think sometimes that it's going to go the way that it does, but anyway, it did. Alright, so these two I need to leave up until I get my other elements in. So I've got my little bird, that's something you see through a window. I love watching the birds in my garden. Let me just see if I can just add a tiny bit of blue. It does have a bit of dark ink around the edges as well, so I won't touch those. But I'll just add a little bit of blue as well, just to tie it in. So he's going to go... He's outside the window, so he needs to go underneath both of those, which is pretty cute. Yeah, I love watching the birds. Sitting out there having my coffee and watching the birds do their thing. Always so busy, aren't they, little birds? Alright, so he'll sit there. So I like the way that sort of comes out the side there as well. So we've got our window panes still. So that's good. Alright, now my scrap piece of art. It really is a scrap piece. I'm not even sure what I used it on. A piece of tulle stuck to it and everything, but it's the right colour, so that'll be great for this project. So I'm kind of thinking that has to be outside too, sort of like the garden, and have the tool sticking through this side, so I'm thinking about there would be good. Now, where did we say? Around about here. Sort of looks like the branch is on the flowers, and that comes through this side as well. So, yep, I'm liking that. That looks good. Alright, and the queen, I think we'll go here, so I need to stick this down first. Put some glue on that window pane, as it were. That part of my graph paper. It's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how you girls interpret the prompt this week. Some of them just stump you, don't they? You look at them and you think, graph paper and a hand tool and a piece of scrap art, how am I going to get all that to sort of tie in? But you do. That's why I like to have the prompts ahead of time, because then you get to think about them and have a look around at the second-hand or thrift store, think bits and pieces that you'd like. Alright, so I'm going to stick this one down as well. So I'm really liking that kind of effect of the window pane. I did want to have sort of a window ledge here, but I don't really know how to do that, or what will suit. I think that going across there like that was probably just a bit too plain. Unless I write something on it, I guess I could do that. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Alright, let me get my coin stuck on first. So I've got my super glue here. It's just about running out, so I've got another one ready to go, but I use Gorilla super glue. I find it's really good. Now, that'll help to keep the tool in place as well. I don't want super glue on my fingers. Let's pop that around about there, I think. Yep, that's good. Alright, so I think that's down. So yep, liking that, liking it a lot. Right, okay, let me get here, because I wrote a poem once about the windowsill that I put up, so I might just write that out on here. Okay, I've just done some darker lines down the windows, and just to bring them forward a little bit. I felt like they just sort of disappeared into the background. And then I thought I would add something in front of the window, something like this. That's still on the graph paper. It's just an illustration I printed off. So I'm just going to fussy cut that and stick that onto here so that it looks like this is inside the window, and that's the window, and you're looking out. So let me see how that turns out now. Okay, so that's still out of graph paper, but it kind of makes it look like, now to me, so like this is the inside of the house, that's my window pane, and I'm looking out onto my elements. So it's still out of graph paper, so just sew this a little bit just to make it look so it's not so new looking. Blend a little bit into the background, especially with that graph paper. Here's a little blue. Alright, so that's a bit better, it's not so blue. There we go, so now I've got my kitchen cupboards are on this side, and my window frame looks out onto my elements, so I'm happy with that. That's a lot better. Right, now I've got my little saying, my little poem that I wrote a while ago now. It's kind of apt for this. So, life stood still, at the windowsill. There we go. I'm just going to glue those on. And that will be me just about done, I think. I might just need maybe some splatter here. I might just do some, maybe some blue. Let me just grab that. Alrighty, I think that's me done for today. So let's take a look at what we've got. Something found in a treasure chest is my coin. Graph paper, well, we've got the cupboard and the window made out of graph paper. A hand tool, we've got these measuring rulers and set squares and things there. piece of scrap art, which was this, which is outside the window. And something you see through the window is my little bird. So that's me done for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll just bring you up closer. Yeah, I'm liking how my cupboard turned out with the graph paper. Looks nice. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.